So today I will be putting in 24 gigabytes of extra RAM into the server. As you can see, it's Hynix 1666 RAM. I've got 6 by 4 gigabyte sticks which I got off eBay for £26 including postage, which is a good deal as 32 gigabyte kit went for £40. Another thing that I'll be putting into this server is this Asus DSX 7.1 sound card, as the server doesn't have any onboard audio. It comes with a low profile bracket, as that is what I'll be using. It's half width, very low profile card, perfect for what I need really, fairly cheap. I got it for under £20. This is an 8400 GS, which I'll be putting in, as the current onboard VGA doesn't support 1080p, which is a bit annoying. So this is a card I already had, so I'm just gonna throw this into the server and hope for the best really. I mean, it should work perfectly fine. So installing the RAM here, obviously I've already got my 8 gigabytes already in there. So I'm going to install the other 24 gigs, that's another 6 sticks. Right, now that that's done, the next thing we're going to do is install the graphics card and the sound card. You can see I'm pointing to where the screws are to take this bracket out here. There's 2 screws at the rear. They're all thumb screws, but if they are a bit tight, they are Torx T15 bits, I think. So I'm just unscrewing the back 2 screws. The internal screws are a bit tricky to get to with my fingers, so I'm going to use a screwdriver here to make that a bit easier. Once I've loosened all the screws, it should just pull out. There's 2 PCIe riser cards in here. One of them is a X4 slot, which I'll be putting in the sound card into, and on the other side we have an X16 slot which the graphics card will be going in. On the rear of this plate, as you can see, on the left hand side we have a half width PCIe slot, and on the right we have a full size one which the graphics card will be going in. This is what the board looks like without that in. You can see the vertical battery and the 2 slots which these riser cards fit into. So in the X4 slot side we're going to put in the sound card. It's just a case of pushing it in like a normal PC case. That one actually goes face up, so that's pointing towards the top of the server. You can see the half width bracket there. And then on the other side, in the X16 slot, we put the graphics card in. This goes the other way up, so the fan will be pointing towards the motherboard. That simply slots in there like that. Then, as you can see, this card has both DVI and VGA ports. To put the full assembly back in, you literally just press down, making sure those PCIe slots are lined up, and then retighten all the screws. It doesn't really matter which order you do them in, as long as you make sure they're all fully tightened down. They don't need to be too tight, only really thumb tight. But again, I'm using the screwdriver to do the 2 internal screws, as they're quite hard to get to with your fingers. And then I'll do the rear screws as well. And that's all done. Here's a look at the new rear I/O at the back. As you can see, I've now got a DVI and a VGA port and onboard audio at last. And there you can see the single PSU that I've got in, as I don't have the redundant one installed currently. There's a shot of the finished product. You can see the RAM installed and the graphics card make it look very full. So as you've just seen, I've installed the new memory and the new sound card that I got for my server. As you can see, it says 32 gigabytes installed. It had 8 gigabytes in originally, 2 4 gigabyte sticks, and I've added an extra 24 gig. I got this memory off eBay for £26 including shipping, which I thought was a pretty good deal. It's just over £1 per gigabyte. It's booting with this memory in, which is good. I presume it all works, and we'll see in Windows if it sees all the memory. Hopefully it should, because this is Windows 7 Pro. I know Home Premium is limited to 16 gigabytes, but Windows 7 Professional should actually be fine. Wow, the screen's a bit washed out. There we go, sorry about that, the screen just got a bit washed out there. I'm going to open up CPU-Z so we can see if all of the memory is installed. So here you go, I've still got the Xeon in as my second heatsink hasn't arrived yet. Yep, as you can see there, 32 gigabytes of DDR2 at 1667 megahertz running at 55515. So that means all of the memory is working correctly. As you can see, the screen is now a full 1080p, unlike before when it was just 768. I think it was 1024 by 768 on the stock graphics. We'll just check this in the control panel. Yep, as you can see there, 1920 by 1080. Excellent. And we'll also check that all 32 gigabytes of memory is installed as well. Being detected by the system here. Yep, there we go. 32.0 gigabytes. You can see I've still got the Xeon X5460 in there. Excellent. I should now be able to create a RAM disk with this, have a 24 gigabyte RAM disk with 8 gigabytes of memory, which should wield quite impressive results, I would have thought. So we'll try and create a RAM disk with some program, and I'll come back with a bit of an update. So as you can see here, I've created a new RAM disk. It's called Local Disk E. It's 24 gigabytes, all RAM, so it's a RAM disk. I've got Crystal Disk Mark up here. We're going to run that on the E drive and also the C drive, and we'll do a comparison. The C drive is 4 72 gigabyte 10,000 RPM hard drives in RAID 5, so we'll see how that compares to a RAM disk. So as you can see, Crystal Disk Mark is now finished running. On the left you have my 4 drives in RAID 5, and on the right you have the RAM disk. As you can see, the RAM disk is incredibly fast. I mean, it's nearly doing 3 gigabytes a second on the sequential write, which is amazing. I've never really seen anything do that kind of performance, apart from maybe some really, really high-end, like, brand new PCIe SSDs. So that's incredible read and write speeds on that, especially the 4K. It's amazing. So that is some pretty rapid storage right there. I suppose that's it for this video. Hopefully in the next video I'll be putting the dual CPUs in. I'm just waiting for the heatsink to come at the minute. I've actually got the second of one of my pairs of CPUs which I'll be testing. But currently I don't have the second heatsink to go in, unfortunately, so I can't run dual CPU. But anyway, see you next time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. See ya.